Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to study the notes of Karnataka State Board Class 6 English Poem Chapter 7, My People. If you want the notes of other lessons, kindly check the playlist of my channel. You can get from there. Preparatory activity. First one, write the names of the professions. A person who mends shoes, cobbler. A person who stitches clothes, tailor. A person who makes ornaments, goldsmith. A person who represents people in the court, advocate. A person who works in the field, farmer. A person who sells fruits and vegetables, greengrocer. Next main. Do you know any other professions? Write them down and discuss the nature of work. Carpenter makes furniture. Mason builds building. Let's understand. Answer the following in 2 or 3 sentences. Question number 1. Who are referred to as they in the poem? Answer. Hardworking skilled laborers of various work are referred to as they here. Question number 2. They weave cloth but they go naked. Why do they weave cloth? Why do they go naked? Answer. They weave cloth for people to dress up well, but their meager income makes them go naked. Question number 3. Why do people sing? Answer. After a day long work, if they return home empty handed, the people sigh. Question number 4. Who does the poet refer to as God-loving man? Answer. Men who pose themselves as God-men. They preach that all men are equal but never try to uplift the poet's people. Question number 5. Is the poet sympathetic to them? How do you know? Answer. Yes, the poet is sympathetic to them because the poet refers to them as my people and highlights the miseries they suffer. Next main, discuss in small group and answer the following. Question number 1. Who is the speaker in the poem? Who is he talking to? Answer. Dr. Siddhalingaya is the speaker in the poem. He is talking to the people of India. Question number 2. What as mentioned in the poem are the different activities done by them? Answer. Carrying stones for buildings, excavating gold, plowing the field, sowing the seeds, cutting the crops, build shops and raise bungalows, make footwear. Question number 3. Why does the poet have sympathy for his people? What as mentioned in the poem are the different activities done by them? Answer. His people are all hard workers and they work for the benefit of society, but they suffer from poverty, so he sympathizes with them. Question number 4. Isn't it a pity that some people build the shops but get into heavy debts? How does this happen? Answer. Even though the poet's people toil day and night, they are paid a pittance. Many of them can't offer even a square meal a day because of their meager earnings. They are forced to borrow money from their employers for huge interest rates. The employers deduct the loans from their payment and the poet's people go home empty-handed or borrow again. Question number 5. What do you think should be done to solve their miseries? Answer. The government should take the responsibility of maintaining the equal status of people in the country. The daily wage workers must be well paid and enjoy all the benefits from the government like the government employees. Let's appreciate. Select and write the few most important words from the poem. Say why you choose those words. Import words from the poem. They get kicked until they sewn. They weave clothes but they go naked. They cut the crops but they are baked in the sun. When they collapse on the street, they don't cry for help. They fall at others' feet and they get kicked. Second main, the poem highlights the miseries of downtrodden society in our country. India is the only country where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poor. Most of the rich are not aware of the difficulties of the poor. In this way, the poem paves a way for their clean understanding. Next, my poem summary in English. Dr. Siddhalingaya is a professor of Kannada in Bengaluru University. He is a major Kannada poet. He pioneered the Dalit voice in 1975. The trend-setting work on Dalit literature in Kannada is Hole Madiganu Hadu, 1975, a collection of poems by Siddhalingaya. His autobiography, Orukere, is translated in English. Many of his poems are translated into various Indian and other languages. Dr. Sumathedra Nadik is a prominent modern poet. His Dampatya Gita has been translated into English, Hindi, Bengali, and other Indian languages. In the poet My People, the Dr. Siddhalingaya, the poet, highlights the miseries of his people, the Dalits. Dalits have been socially marginalized by others in Indian society. In the days gone by, Dalits never had an opportunity to get educated, and this led to their oppression. They were forced to work as landless laborers, paid meagerly, and led a life of poverty. They have suffered unknown miseries. In the poem, the poet says that his people carry stones for buildings. They are forced to do hard labor. If they are not quick enough to do the work assigned to them, they are kicked until they faint. Even though they toil day and night, they are paid a pittance. Many of them can't afford 2 square meals a day and so die of hunger or malnutrition. The poet's people go deep into the gold mines, risking their lives and limbs to excavate gold. Even though they help to produce the most valuable metal on earth, they don't get a meal a day because they are paid a meager wage from their toil. These people weave clothes to protect the modesty of all people, but they themselves go naked because they can't afford the clothes they themselves weave. These people plow the field of rich landlord. They sow the seeds and harvest the crops by toiling in the hot sun. They get baked, burnt in the sun. Many of these people are enslaved into bonded labor because they have borrowed money from the landlords. All the money they earn by laboring at the landlord field is deducted for the loans they have to repay. So they go home empty-handed. They have a deep sigh in sorrow and live a life of misery and poverty. These people build shops and raise buildings. They are ensnared in a web of heavy debts. In spite of poverty and starvation, they do not cry out for help when they are in difficult situation. They suppress their cries for help because they know that no one will help them. No one come to their aid and relieve them of their misery. They pay heavy interest for the loans they borrow. They pay interest through their noses. The politicians use them as their vote banks. They make fiery speeches about their upliftment and get elected. These people, lured by their enticing promises, elect them, only to be let down by the politicians. They become ash in the fire of fiery speeches. Men often project themselves as God-loving people, but these men, gurus and math heads, live a life of luxury. The poet's people make footway for these godmen. If the poet's people fall at others' feet, that is, if they plead for help, they are kicked. But they are ignorant of the ways of the other men who assure them of their upliftment. They devote themselves to these men and listen to anything said to them. But they never get any help. They are left to fend for themselves. They live on air. They live a life of poverty and misery. These people are the poet's people. So this is all about the notes of My People poem. If you want the notes of other lessons, kindly check the playlist of my channel. Thank you.